Part 74. The Return of the National Goddess. Author, Yuen Suya. Chapter 731. Chapter 731. I guess it's an intuition. However, both Yu Ling and Officer Song firmly believe in one principle: there is no perfect crime case in the world. No matter how seamlessly the crime is committed, there will always be more or less clues left behind. It's just that the traces of the witch are too difficult to find. The test results of the book that Su Mo gave to Xia Ying also came out. The pages were soaked in colorless and odorless poisonous powder. That kind of poisonous powder can make people addicted. And during the addiction process, the person involved almost didn't know all this. It wasn't until the onset of drug addiction that symptoms began to show, but by then it was already too late. Fortunately, Xia Ying's little bug stopped the consequences of this behavior in time, otherwise, everything would be difficult to imagine. Su Mo usually doesn't have anyone with whom he has close contacts. If there is anyone, it's Chu Shenxiu. In other words, in this regard, Su Mo was very covert and did not reveal any clues. Police officer Song had talked to several people who had close relationships with Su Wei some time ago, and found nothing wrong. The only thing was that Officer Song had a deep impression on Suji, a girl whose eyes were different from others. Suji's eyes did not look like that of an energetic college student. To tell a joke, Suji looked like a master who had seen through life and death and was aloof from the world. It is said that she likes Su Mo, but Officer Song really didn't feel it during the conversation with her. He thought that as an unrequited lover, after the person she liked died, she would tell him how much she liked him, and no matter how bad it was, she would shed a few tears. But Suji was different. She just answered questions calmly throughout the whole process. Officer Song was so calm that it was incredible. When Officer Song told Yu Lingfeng all this, Yu Lingfeng didn't show much surprise because he already knew this. "Brother Yu, do you think Suji is suspicious?" Officer Song touched his chin, thinking, and looked at Yu Lingfeng. Yu Lingfeng's stacked legs were replaced by one. He looked up at Officer Song and said calmly, "Why do you say that?" "I don't know how to explain it, maybe it's an intuition." Officer Song frowned after he finished speaking, as if he didn't agree with his overly arbitrary judgment. "She is so different. Besides, isn't it true that the witch is about the same age as her?" Officer Song continued, "I know that as a police officer, what I said without evidence is really against my professional ethics. But as a girl in her early 20s, she seemed too sensible and mature. When I was talking to her, I felt uncomfortable when she stared at me. She was so comfortable, and the words she said made me feel that she was too heartless, like a cold-blooded person." Officer Song originally wanted to say that she was a cold-blooded female killer, but after thinking about it, she regained her sense. Yu Lingfeng listened to Officer Song's words. Although he did not express any opinions, he did listen to them. Officer Song's current thoughts are exactly the same as his before. "Where is Rong Ci?" Officer Song's eyes lit up as if he thought of something. "I've asked him to come back. He'll probably be there in the afternoon." Yu Lingfeng has already thought of this level. Regardless of whether she is a witch or not, Rong Ci will know it when he meets her. "I'm too tired to write today. There are only 4 updates. I'll update them for you tomorrow. Come on, babies who are about to take the high school entrance examination." End of this chapter. The Return of the National Goddess. Author, Yuen Suya. Chapter 732. Chapter 732. June Family Meeting. When Rong Ci received the message from Yu Lingfeng, their June family was holding an internal family meeting. Nowadays, June Chennai's situation is obvious to everyone. A person like June Chennai is definitely not able to inherit the June family. In other words, the June family now needs a new and capable successor. Such a strong atmosphere has been present since June Chennai's accident, and now that several months have passed, they have been wearing masks for a long time, and they are finally tired. Previously, she had always expressed regret for Jun Chennai's injuries, and kept pretending to comfort Jun Chennai's parents and Jun Chennai. After pretending to be happy for so long, their ferocious fangs could no longer be hidden and were about to be exposed. The Jun family unanimously decided to hold a family meeting to select the next successor to the Jun family. Jun Chennai, as a member of the Jun family, also participated in this meeting. Originally, Jun's parents were not willing for him to participate. They didn't want Jun Chennai to wake up from amnesia and face such a cold family. However, all this cannot be hidden in the end. Jun Chennai also expressed that he wanted to participate. The Jun family was very large, and when they were sitting in the same room, Jun Chennai took a real look at his entire family. This was also the first time since Grandpa Jun passed away that he had seen the Jun family so fully present. After the false pleasantries, there was a serious discussion between the heirs of the Jun family. Everyone suppressed the smiles on their faces and revealed their pursuit of power. At this moment, Jun Chennai truly understood this strange family. Everyone, please express your opinions one by one. The eldest uncle said with a serious face and looked around at everyone. The more he looked, the stranger this group of people became to him. Because the eldest uncle has no children, he will not participate in any battle for the heir. This is the competition between their next generation and it has nothing to do with him. It's just that until the next generation's heir is capable, the eldest uncle is the person in charge of the Jun family. Then I'll do it first. The person who spoke was Jun Chennai's second uncle. His second uncle had been developing business in country M all year round, and Jun Chennai rarely saw him. Sitting next to the second uncle is his son Jun Xianyan, Jun Chennai's cousin. When the second uncle was talking, Jun Xianyan glanced in Jun Chennai's direction. Jun Chennai met Shang Jun Xianyan's gaze. Both of them had no expression on their faces, they were frighteningly calm. I won't go into details about Xianyan's academic qualifications in our family. Everyone should know it. Xianyan has been working hard for the Jun family's business for 5 years. In these 5 years, Xianyan has taken over the Jun family's catering industry. In Xianyan I don't need to say more about how bad the Jun family's catering industry was before Yan took over. But now, thanks to Xianyan's efforts, the Jun family's catering industry has become the 3 backbone industries of our Jun family. 1. Xianyan plays an indispensable role in this. In addition, Xianyan has been selected as a model young entrepreneur for 3 consecutive years. His ability has been recognized by the industry. Jun Chennai didn't even listen to what he said next. Everyone is selling melons to everyone, selling their sons to everyone. However, Jun Chennai really wanted to know who the final winner was. Whoever is the final winner will be the biggest profiteer, and the biggest profiteer must be the person who carefully planned to bring himself down. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Return of the National Goddess. Author, Yun Suya. Chapter 733. Chapter 733, Take Everything Away from Him. As a result of the meeting, everyone selected 2 places to be determined, Jun Xianyan and Jun Liang. Jun Liang is the son of Jun Chennai's third uncle. Like Jun Xianyan, he is already taking over the Jun family's business, and he is doing well. Everyone's opinion is that whoever achieves the highest achievements in the field within 3 years will be given the position of heir to the Jun family. Jun Xianyan and Jun Liang shook hands with each other politely. Although they were cousins, the 2 people in front of them acted extremely unfamiliar. Brother, please give me some advice. Don't dare, let's work hard together. When their eyes met, neither one allowed the other to be harsher. After provoking each other with their eyes, the two of them both looked in the direction of Jun Chennai and walked towards him. Chennai, do you still recognize us? Jun Xianyan's tone and demeanor were like treating a mentally retarded child, which made Jun Chennai feel very uncomfortable. Jun Chennai said nothing with a straight face. Chen Yi, don't think that our family is cold-blooded. In fact, there are many things that you can't understand now. When you grow up, you will naturally understand. Jun Liang said. Jun Chennai still didn't speak. Jun Liang and Jun Xianyan looked like winners in front of Jun Chennai. As the saying goes, the enemy of your enemy is your friend. Jun Chennai has always been the enemy of all of them, so in front of Jun Chennai, all of them are friends. Brother, it's said that uncle and the others are already looking for a fiancé for you. Jun Xianyan had always focused on his career before, and he had never had any serious girlfriends. Now that his career has gradually stabilized, Jun Xianyan's parents have begun to consider a girlfriend for him. After all, Jun Xianyan is already quite old. Jun Xianyan lit a cigarette and started smoking it very skillfully. Jun Xianyan spat out the circles in his eyes and glanced in Jun Chennai's direction intentionally or unintentionally. I think the daughter of the Xia family in China meets my criteria for choosing a spouse. She is beautiful, has a good family background, and is very smart. When Jun Xianyan said this, the corners of his mouth curved into a wicked smile. Jun Chennai was listening on the side, and suddenly his body froze. Jun Xianyan did it on purpose and everyone knew it. When Jun Chennai was the heir to the Jun family, Xia Ying was the designated matron of the Jun family. Excellent external conditions and the reputation of being the richest daughter in the city of God, combined with Xia Ying, is the best choice for the Jun family. But now Jun Xianyan has snatched his position as heir, and also deliberately wants to away the fiancé that the family had originally planned for Jun Chennai. Xia Ying, is she that little musical talent? Jun Liang touched his nose and said, she seems to be still in school, right? Actually, what he wanted to say in his heart was, isn't that Chen Yi's fiancé, but Jun Liang then thought about it, how could Jun Xianyan not know this? He did it on purpose. Jun Chennai had suppressed him for so many years, and now that he had finally regained control, he was going to take away everything around him. And he also concluded that after Jun Chennai became what he was now, it was impossible for the Xia family to betroth their daughter to him. Anyway, Jun Chennai doesn't know anything now. For such a good girl, it's better to give him an advantage than to give others an advantage. I can still afford to wait for 3 years. After Jun Xianyan finished speaking, he deliberately glanced in Jun Chennai's direction. Jun Chennai lowered his head and said nothing, staring at the floor under his feet. End of this chapter. The Return of the National Goddess. Author, Yuan Suya. Chapter 734. Chapter 734 I Want to Leave. After the meeting, Jun Chennai sat in a wheelchair and was pushed outside by Rong Ci. Jun Chennai took a greedy breath of fresh air outside, and then he felt that he was still alive. It was so depressing inside that Jun Chennai didn't even dare to take a deep breath of the air there, for fear that even the air would be poisoned. Because it was a meeting of the Jun family, Rong Ci, as an outsider, did not participate in it, but from everyone's expressions, Rong Ci could also see the glory of the winner. Let's go to Jun Xianyan and Jun Liang. Rong Ci said it, but he had already guessed it. Among people of Jun Chennai's generation, these two are the only ones who stand out. If the successor is not Jun Chennai, then he must be chosen between these two people. Jun Chennai nodded. Rong Ci had already expected this, so he had already started investigating the two families a long time ago. But to Rong Ci's surprise, he found nothing. They were no different from ordinary businessmen's families. But in order to prevent himself from missing anything, Rong Ci replaced several of their employees with his own people to investigate their suspicious circumstances. Jun Xianyan and Jun Liang's family have many servants, so they will basically not notice this. I'm going to China soon and will be back soon. If anything happens, please call me directly. Rong Si squatted down and said to Jun Chennai in front of him. Jun Chennai looked a little dazed. He had been like this all these days, and Rong Si gradually got used to it. Maybe it's because I have lost my memory, and I am too disappointed with this strange environment and strange family. The gauze on Jun Chennai's face can be removed, but he still covers his face with gauze. He didn't want to face this scary face, and at the same time, he didn't want to scare others. Rong Si, I want to leave here. Jun Chennai moved his throat and made a hoarse voice. Where to? Rong Si frowned, looking at Jun Chennai's eyes. He suddenly had a bad feeling. Go to a new place, be anonymous, and start over. Jun Chennai was serious, his eyes were sparkling, and Rong Si felt a little distressed when he saw it. Rong Si held Jun Chennai's hand, his eyes were firm, and he comforted him. Don't worry, Chen Yi, you will get better, it's just a matter of time. Your face, everything about you, will be fine, you believe me. Jun Chennai pursed his lips and looked down, staring at the black ribbon on his wrist, but did not say a word. Chennai, wait until I come back, and you will definitely get better. Rong Si stood up, repeated the words, then turned and left. Jun Chennai looked at Rong Si's back. The sun was very dazzling. Jun Chennai squinted his eyes, and Rong Si was getting further and further away in his sight. Rong Si had just gotten off the plane when he received a call from Yu Lingfeng. Reached. Just arrived. No need to go home, come directly to the police station. Yu Lingfeng hung up the phone after finishing speaking. Rong Si breathed a sigh of relief, stopped a car and headed towards the police station. Rong Si had already learned about recent events while on the road. The witch appeared again and a boy died at Imperial University. Rong Si was very tired after sitting on the plane for so long. He slumped in the seat and leaned back. However, not long after, Rong Si found that the route was getting more and more wrong. This was not the route to the police station at all. Rong Si looked in the rearview mirror, met the driver's familiar eyes, and was stunned. End of this chapter. The Return of the National Goddess. Author, Yuan Suya. Chapter 735. Chapter 735, How many more people do you want to kill? Sanskrit. When Rong Si shouted out this name, he felt that his tongue was so hot that his words were trembling. Rong Si's eyes widened and he looked at the person in front of him through the rearview mirror. After not seeing each other for so many years, the witch's facial features are no longer as beautiful as those of Xiaojiabia back then. She has grown longer and is becoming more and more feminine. She was extremely beautiful when she was young. Rong Si still remembered how amazed he was when he saw her for the first time. Because she was beautiful, the young Rong Si remembered her at the first sight. In the days that followed, no matter how many good-looking girls he saw, Rong Si could never forget the first moment of surprise in his memory. The only thing that hasn't changed about the witch is her eyes. Those smart and charming eyes make people fall into them unconsciously, but they can never see through them. When the witch heard Rong Si recalling the long-lost name, her eyelashes trembled, and a momentary expression of emotion passed through her eyes. However, the abnormality did not last long and was covered up by her skillful disguise skills. Over the years, she has performed many tasks and been called many names. Even she has almost forgotten her original name. Her name is Sanskrit, a Buddhist word with profound meaning. Where are you taking me? Even though he knew that the girl in front of him was a cold-blooded killer with countless blood on his hands, Rong Si was surprisingly calm in front of her. He didn't show any panic at all, and he was extremely calm inside. Along the way, Rong Si even took the initiative to talk to her. He really wanted to hear her long-lost voice. In Rongsi's impression, the little witch's voice was milky. It was obvious that her voice was extremely cute, but there was not a word she said that did not contain words such as beat, kill, kill. Aren't you afraid that I will take you to the wilderness and kill you? When the witch said this, the expression on her face was extremely calm, as if it was not a threat, but something that would really happen. If you wanted to kill me, wouldn't you have done it long ago? Rongsi raised the corners of his mouth and smiled faintly. The witch came to see him several times before. If she really wanted to kill him, why did she wait until now? You are always so confident and you have never changed. Did you kill Suemo? Rongsi changed the topic. He deserved his death. He exposed his plan so early. Killing him was the order of the organization. The witch didn't seem very wary of Rongsi, but talked to him about her organization very naturally. So, the Suji that Yu Lingfeng asked me to identify is you. The witch remained silent. Where do you want to take me? Lock me in a dark place and won't let me out. Rongsi looked out the car window at the increasingly remote forest paths and couldn't help but ask. I don't think there's anywhere to lock you up. Then you're not taking me to reminisce about old times, are you? Rongsi said jokingly, leaning back and looking at the witch in front of him with a smile on his face. The witch said nothing, nor did she look back at Rongsi. The smile on Rongsi's face gradually stiffened. How many more people do you want to kill? How long do you want to dedicate to your so-called organization? You can't live your whole life by killing people. Rongsi's eyes were filled with light. The witch just glanced at Rongsi, lowered her eyes, and remained silent. After the car stopped, the witch and Rongsi got out of the car together. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Return of the National Goddess. Author, Yuen Suya. Chapter 736. Chapter 736. Why didn't my memory be erased? Rongsi raised his head and looked at the cabin in front of him, frowning, not understanding the purpose of the witch bringing him here. The cabin is very dilapidated. It is just a very small room. There is no light inside when you walk inside. The witch lit the kerosene lamp, and Rongsi stared at the kerosene lamp in surprise. He had never seen anything like that. I'm afraid this is the first time I've met a young master like you. The witch glanced at Rongsi's surprised eyes and said. There was no ridicule, just narrating the sentence very calmly. Rongsi did not answer, but used the faint light to look at the structure inside the cabin. The cabin is very small, with only a single bed, a table, and a chair. Although they are very old, they still smell like fireworks. Have you always lived here? Rongsi frowned. Occasionally. The witch skillfully cleaned the dust on the table while chatting with Rongsi. What did you bring me here for? Rongsi asked. I'll kill you and silence you. The witch raised her head and gave Rongsi a sinister smile. Rongsi was shocked by that smile and almost thought the witch was going to kill him. Tonight, you stay here and don't go anywhere. Imperative mood. With no reason, he looked at her incomprehensibly. What exactly is it doing? Is there a reason to do things? The witch looked at Rongsi with a cold face. Well, it's okay. Anyway, I wasn't suspected by others, but someone kidnapped me at this time, and you yourself happened to be missing. Who knows who it was harmful to? Rongsi curled his lips and said. The witch glanced at him and said nothing. Instead, she walked to the threshold of the wooden house and looked up at the stars in the sky. Rongsi's eyes stung a little as he looked at the familiar profile of the witch looking up at the stars. Rongsi suddenly thought crazily that this female devil with blood on her hands was still the innocent girl who pointed at the night sky and asked others if they would become stars after they died. Rong Si walked over to the witch and sat down next to her. The witch glanced at him indifferently, as if she was instinctively repulsed by the distance. She has always been like this, ever since she was a child. She was most afraid of others getting close to her. When you get close to her, she looks like a kitten covered in fur. However, she gradually got used to Rong Si's approach, and only Rong Si. Do you know now? What do you know? The witch turned away and looked at Rong Si. Will a person turn into a star after death? The light in the witch's eyes dimmed. Won't. She turned her face away again, but she was still looking at the stars. Then why are you still reading? Got used to. When she was a child, she thought people would turn into stars after death, so she would look at the sky carefully every time to identify which stars were her family members. But she couldn't find it after reading it for so many years. As she grew older, she no longer believed in these fairy tales. Rong Si stared at the witch's eyes with fascination. He had always done this when he was a child. She was looking at the stars, and Rong Si sat aside and looked into her eyes. Xiao Rongkai said that he could see stars in her eyes. Rong Si thinks about it now, he has been so good at flirting with girls since he was a child. Why wasn't my memory erased? Rong Si suddenly spoke. The witch blinked and did not look at him. None of the orphans who were taken in when they were young still remember the witch. The witch probably used goo insects to erase their memories. Only Rong Si still remembers everything about her. End of this chapter. The Return of the National Goddess. Author, Yuen Suya. Chapter 737. Chapter 737 Come with me. Because I hope there is someone who can still remember me and be kind. After the witch finished speaking, the corners of her mouth raised, revealing an unusually bitter smile. Rong Si's eyes lit up, and he looked a little moved. Rong Si reached out and grasped the cold fingertips of the witch. The witch was so startled by Rong Si's sudden touch that she shuddered and stopped looking at him. Come with me and stop killing people. Rong Si looked at the witch with firm eyes, shining brightly. The witch met Rong Si's gaze and said nothing, just staring at him quietly. The next second, Rong Si felt a chill on his lips. The witch closed her eyes and placed a soft kiss on Rong Si's lips. It was as soft as the brush of catkins. Before Rong Si could feel anything, the witch he had already turned his head and left Rong Si's lips. The witch stood up and walked towards the house, leaving behind a cold and decisive figure and a word without warmth: we are not the same, never will be. The words were a little dazed, and I didn't know what to say for a moment. It was not until many years later that Rong Si understood the meaning of the witch's words. Yu Lingfeng, who didn't wait for Rong Si, was a little anxious and didn't answer the phone. Yu Lingfeng suddenly had a bad premonition. Yu Lingfeng also learned from Xia Ying that Su Ji had not come back either. Yu Lingfeng had to naturally think of Su Ji. No, it should be the witch who did something to Rong Si. Rong Si is the only person who knows her appearance, so Rong Si is a time bomb to the witch, and now, the witch is likely to solve this time bomb. Yu Lingfeng and Officer Song searched for Rong Si all night without any news. The next day, Officer Song, who looked exhausted, was just about to have a good sleep when Yu Lingfeng told him that Rong Si was back. Officer Song had no choice but to turn back again. Where were you yesterday? Why didn't you answer the phone? I thought you were in danger. Rong Si seemed to be in good spirits, shrugging his shoulders easily, with a relaxed look on his face. It's nothing, I just met an old friend on the road and caught up with each other. My phone happened to be out of battery, so I thought it would be the same if I came to see you tomorrow. Damn, it's easy for you to talk. Do you know that we have been looking for you all night? Police Officer Song arrived just at this time and complained angrily. I'm sorry. Rong Si scratched the back of his head and apologized awkwardly. He indeed saw that Officer Song looked like he had not rested well. Real. Yu Lingfeng didn't quite believe Rong Si's rhetoric. Then do you know that Su Ji also disappeared yesterday? Is it such a coincidence? Rong Si looked surprised. Then is she back now? Yu Lingfeng didn't speak, but still looked at Rong Si suspiciously. Yu Lingfeng called Xia Ying, is Su Ji back? No. Xia Ying shook her head. While Yu Lingfeng was on the phone, Rong Si was watching from the side. Although he didn't make a sound, Rong Si was indeed listening. Su Ji hasn't come back yet. Yu Lingfeng put down the phone, looking very unhappy. It doesn't matter if she doesn't come back. Do you have a photo of her? It's the same when you look at the photo. Rong Si said. There is no photo of her. The only photo she has is a student ID photo. As Officer Song said, he went to rummage in his drawer. He had prepared these things when he interrogated the students. End of this chapter. The Return of the National Goddess. Author, Yuan Suya. Chapter 738. Chapter 738. It will be clear by doing an experiment. Officer Song took out the photo and handed it to Rong Si. Rong Si took the photo and frowned as he looked at the photo without makeup, looking extremely serious. It's not her. After Rong Si finished speaking, he returned the photo to Officer Song. Yu Lingfeng raised his eyebrows. Isn't it really true? He always felt that something was not right about today's Rongkai. Ever since he suddenly disappeared with Su Ji, Yu Lingfeng couldn't help but feel a little wary. If you don't believe me, why did you call me all the way here to ask me? Rong Si shrugged and said with a nonchalant look on his face. Yu Lingfeng and Officer Song looked at each other and said nothing more. Okay, then Officer Song put away the photo. Yu Lingfeng looked at Rong Si and then changed the topic. How is Jun Chenai? Rong Si told Yu Lingfeng what happened to the Jun family some time ago. The Jun family has now completely given up on Jun Chenai, and the next heir has been selected. The entire Jun family now has nothing to do with Jun Chenai. Chen Yi's current state is what I am most concerned about. When Rong Si said this, he sighed deeply. He told me more than once that he wanted to leave. I'm afraid that one day, he will really leave without us paying attention. If it weren't for the shadow hunter beside Jun Chenai, Rong Si guarantees that Jun Chenai would have found an opportunity to slip away long ago. The current life is really worse than death for Jun Chenai, and Jun Chenai has also lost his memory and has no emotional support around him. Jun Chenai does not want to continue this kind of life. When are you going to help Chen Yi? Rong Si asked again. He had been waiting for Yu Lingfeng to take action, but Yu Lingfeng always told him that the time had not come yet, and Rong Si didn't know when the time would come. Now that he saw the hateful faces of the Jun family, he couldn't help but feel chilled for Jun Chenai. At least, we have to wait until the murderer behind the scenes is found out. Otherwise, even if Jun Chenai is cured, they still have a way to bring him down again, right? Yu Lingfeng said as calmly as the wind. Rong Si thought it made sense, so he didn't ask any further. After Rong Si left, Officer Song turned to look at Yu Lingfeng and asked, do you think there is anything wrong with Rong Si? Yu Lingfeng replied without hesitation. Su Ji is a witch, right? Yu Lingfeng did not answer, but took a sip of water slowly and said calmly, is that so? Let's do an experiment to find out. What experiment? Officer Song asked. You will know when the time comes. After Yu Lingfeng finished speaking, he put down the water glass and walked out. It was a peaceful afternoon when Xia Ying received Mu Niankai's call. There were no classes in the afternoon. Xia Ying was ready to take a nap. Who knew that she was woken up by Mu Niankai's call just a few minutes after she fell asleep? Unless it's something very important, Mu Niankai, you're dead. Xia Ying said angrily, her eyelids so heavy that they seemed to be closing in the next second. It's almost 2 o'clock, Xia Ying, why don't you go to sleep, get up and accompany me to the stadium to watch the football match. Not interested in. After Xia Ying finished speaking, she hung up the phone, stood up straight, and prepared to fall asleep. Then, Mu Niankai's call came in again. A piece of Häagen-Dazs. Do you think I can be bribed by you so easily? 3 roots. 10 roots. Make a deal. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Return of the National Goddess. Author, Yuen Suya. Chapter 739. Chapter 739 Football Game. 2 or 3 o'clock is when the midsummer sun is at its strongest. Xia Ying held a sun umbrella and waited for Mu Niankai to come over in the hot air. It was obviously this girl who made the appointment with her, but Xia Ying didn't know why she came later than her. Xia Ying. Xia Ying heard someone calling her name from behind, and immediately turned around to look over. Mu Niankai was running towards Xia Ying with 2 sticks of Häagen-Dazs ice cream in her hands. After approaching, Mu Niankai walked under Xia Ying's sun umbrella, then happily tore open the wrapping paper and handed the ice cream to Xia Ying. I still owe you 9 roots, and I will pay them back slowly in the future. Xia Ying frowned, looked at Mu Niankai who was sweating profusely, and asked, "Why didn't I know that you like to watch football games?" According to Xia Ying's understanding of Mu Niankai, this girl is so pretty, so she's not afraid of going all the way to the gym and getting tanned. The point is not the ball, but that the little brother who plays football is very good looking. Mu Niankai held her face in her hands and said without hiding the nymphomaniac in her eyes. "Who is it, Du Ziyi?" Xia Ying knew this name for a reason. Du Ziyi was the captain of the school football team. It is said that his football skills are top-notch, and of course the most important thing is because he is handsome and has many little fans. Xia Ying often hears his name in class. "Ah, do you also know Senior Du Ziyi?" When Mu Niankai said the words Senior Du Ziyi, she seemed to be in a state of being obsessed with the girl. Unexpectedly, Mu Niankai was also fascinated by this so-called Senior Du Ziyi. "I just heard about it. I saw a video of Senior Du Ziyi playing basketball on my roommate's phone. He's really cool, you know." Mu Niankai excitedly dragged Xia Ying's arm around, until Xia Ying's arm was almost dislocated by her. Okay, I understand, you don't need to describe it to me anymore." Xia Ying was helpless and suddenly began to regret mentioning the name Du Ziyi. Mu Niankai pulled Xia Ying and ran all the way to the gymnasium. Xia Ying was already exhausted when she arrived, but Mu Niankai couldn't feel any fatigue at all. The power of handsome men is really powerful. Although Xia Ying and Mu Niankai arrived half an hour early, Xia Ying still underestimated the speed of true love among the fans. Xia Ying glanced around and suddenly saw a familiar figure in the athletes area. The boy was wearing a navy blue sportswear and a black headband on his head. His chiseled face attracted the attention of many girls. "Hanzija is here too." Just as Xia Ying muttered this, she heard the excited discussions from the girls around her. Senior Hanzija is so handsome. I like Senior Hanzija very much, but I also like Senior Du Ziyi very much. What should I do? Who should I support?" "Personally, I prefer Senior Hanzija. He looks so naughty and pretty when he smiles." Xia Ying looked back at the girl who was talking behind her and asked, "How was this game played?" "The ones in blue clothes are Senior Hanzija's team, and the ones in black clothes are Senior Du Ziyi's team. The 2 of them are recognized by the imperial capital as the 2 golden feet. I don't know who is better, ha ha ha." "Oh, that's it, thank you." Xia Ying glanced at Mu Niankai, who was looking around on the court, looking for something. "Mu Niankai, are you really here to see Du Ziyi?" End of this chapter. The Return of the National Goddess. Author, Yuen Suya. Chapter 740. Chapter 740, Let You Taste Failure. Muni Ankai was stunned by Xia Ying's question. She turned her head and looked at Xia Ying in confusion. Yeah, what's wrong? I saw Hanzija. Xia Ying held her chin up, with a smirk on her lips as she spoke, and looked at Muni Ankai with squinted eyes. Muni Ankai frowned. What does that guy have to do with me? Today your senior Duzi is fighting him. Then he will definitely not be able to compare with my senior Duzi. Muni Ankai pouted and said with a straight face. Xia Ying chuckled and said nothing. The game was about to start, and the athletes were all doing some preparations. Hanzija raised his head and glanced around the auditorium, and his eyes fell on Muni Ankai's pretty little face, with a scornful grin on his face. Smirk. This smile made the hearts of the girls who happened to be staring at him melt, and screams suddenly erupted from the scene. Captain, you have a lot of cheerleaders today. Hearing the players calling Hanzija's name all over the field, he walked up to Hanzija and joked. Hanzija looked indifferent, stretched out his hand to comb his hair, and said, "They are all here to witness me taking down that Duzi." As soon as Hanzija finished speaking, there were screams all around. Slogans such as "Come on, Senior Duzi" and "Senior Duzi are so handsome" echoed throughout the audience. Hanzija frowned and watched the black-clad team led by Duzi approaching the field aggressively. Most of the members of the black team are juniors and seniors, while most of the members of Hanzija's team are freshmen, so they look a little greener in appearance and demeanor. Ah, Senior Duzi is here. Senior Duzi is so manly. Muni Ankai's loud voice reached Hanzija's ears. After hearing this, Hanzija looked at Muni Ankai angrily. Is this girl actually obsessed with another boy in front of him? No matter how handsome Duzi is, can he be as handsome as him? Does this woman have something wrong with her eyes? By the time Hanzija looked away, Duzi had already walked up to Hanzija. Duzi is an image with a wheat complexion and looks very sunny and healthy. Because he likes to exercise, Duzi's muscles are relatively developed. Standing in front of the fair-skinned Hanzija, Duzi looked much more masculine. Duzi has strong features, thick eyebrows, and deep eyes. He is indeed very handsome. No wonder those girls were so crazy when they saw him. Hanzija. Duzi raised his eyebrows and looked at Hanzija with a look full of disdain and provocation. Not to be outdone, Hanzija raised his head and met Duzi's gaze. Have you ever lost? No. Hanzija answered simply and neatly. That's just right, I'll just let you taste the taste of failure. After Duzi finished speaking, he raised his lips and smiled, as if he had already won before he even started. Then it depends on whether you have the ability. Hanzija snorted coldly. Damn it, why is that Hanzija's face so ugly? Did he say something bad to my senior Duzi? Muni Ankai, who was paying close attention to Duzi, immediately became furious when she saw Hanzija's expression just now. What are you talking about? Duzi obviously likes to provoke before the game. Didn't you see that he took the initiative to come to see Senior Hanzija? Beside Muni Ankai, a fan of Hanzija couldn't stand it anymore and started arguing with Muni Ankai. End of this chapter.